I mean, it's going to be a dog fight, a marathon. These guys are going to have to scrap their way out of it, and they're going to have to battle.
These drivers are going to have to manage their tires, manage their tempers, manage their cars, because that wall, when you come out of 4, comes up mighty quick.
You can run a bunch of different groups here. I mean, it's not just follow the leader. The draft will have something to do with it.
So maybe finding that landmark, your lift and brake point, maybe a little bit more difficult here. They're going to have to kind of do it by feel.
It's not really about grip. It's about, you got to watch your sides, especially going through that dog leg. It's going to be really easy to lose where all the other cars are around you. Just got to survive the battle out there. You're going to beat and bang. You got tempers flaring. If you survive this battle, you're going to get yourself a good finish.
Almost impossible to pass here. So a lot of the passing for position that you're going to see on the track is because somebody messed up.
Hello and welcome everybody once again to the Midwest Days of Thunder. We are here with the Cup Series, which means we're going very, very fast tonight at Daytona International Speedway for these duels. These duels will set the inside and outside starting grids for next week's first official race of the season. But tonight we get some bonus racing action to kind of get that one all figured out. And of course, this one is brought to you by Richard Michelob Gray and is double-fister duels at Daytona, because we all know Michelob is probably, when he's not driving this thing, he's probably got at least one drink in each hand going on down there. But to get tonight's party started, I am Alan Brown, and I'm joined in the booth by Mr. Alan English. Alan, how are you doing tonight, brother?
Great, man. This is the Duels, so we're going to have two races separated by a short intermission. A lot of folks might think, well, Duels, it doesn't really mean you're just setting the starting order for, Daytona next week. That's true. But for three guys tonight, they had a special shootout session. Three guys raced their way into Cup tonight. And one of them was Richard Michelob Gray. And the other two were Joshua Grosso and Matthew Geesty. I hope I'm saying his name right. But those guys are in this race tonight. So they're going to be racing tonight, and they're going to be racing next week at Daytona when we get the first points race underway next week.
That's definitely good to hear. Just, a few extra guys joining into this series and filling out that car count. And you know what? The more cars there are week in and week out, man, the racing action just gets better and better. And we would bring it down to Adam Turner down there in the pits, but rather than being in the pits, he's out in the middle of nowhere hunting down himself a Sasquatch here tonight. So he will sadly not be with us, but I think we might have a special guest joining us here for duel number 2, so stay tuned for that, and we'll see who pops up into the booth here. So we take a look at today's racing info. I'm gonna start it off with some nice, beautiful weather here. Not the weather that I'm experiencing up here right now in New Hampshire, but Florida's looking really, really nice. Gonna be a wonderful night race under the lights here at Daytona. And bringing it down to that key to the race, find your frenemy. Daytona is one of those interesting spots. It doesn't matter how much you hate the person that's driving next to you or in front of you or whatever. Man, at some point you're probably going to have to work together to get yourself a really good finish.
Yeah, talking about the weather. Y'all don't have shorts weather up there right now. It's only like -20 or something up there, right?
Yeah, negative 20. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not good.
Yeah, you're right though, frenemies. I mean, you can work with your team as much as you can, but you're not always going to be around teammates. You're not always going to be around guys that you know, because as we know, we've got guys moving up from other series into the Cup Series. So a lot of these guys haven't raced with each other. So besides maybe a practice or two. So there'll be some guys learning, who they can race around, who they can't tonight, who they can trust, who they can't, who's going to bail and leave them on the outside after you pushed them, and that type of deal. So we'll see a lot of that tonight. Hopefully some clean racing too, as we get ready to start the 25-lap qualifier here in just a minute or two.
Yeah, that we do. It was an open qualifying session here, so these guys have been putting in laps for the last 30 minutes or so, trying to get the starting grid for this duel number 1 underway. And it looks like that's going to be finishing up in just a moment here. And man, talk about having a good qualifying time. There's some people up there at the front that really put in some great lap times there, working with each other, getting in a really good draft seam, and even a car up there that we normally don't see up there, and especially over here at MDOT. I know he's been up front occasionally over in other leagues, but
yeah, Richard Gray up there sitting on the pole right now with a 47.48. Slider Dixon up there with a 47.6. And Mike Hornbeck, still see him out there running, making some laps, trying to improve his time just a little bit, or just try to get some extra practice running around some of these guys. So good to see Mike putting in extra laps, extra effort out there.
as we're only a few moments away here from finishing up the qualifying, which, yes, there it goes. So we will now have our drivers start to take to the grid here. Let us get the right cameras going. And let's run down through tonight's starting grid in duel number 1. We're going to start it off up on pole position with Richard Michelob Gray, tonight's great race sponsor. And what a fitting way to start this one off is with that 110 car all the way up at the front. He's also got that 31 of Alan Dixon. He's sitting right there on that outside, so Slider having a great job there in qualifying. Mike Hornbeck in the 84 will be starting here in 3rd, with the 26 of Michael Buckley in 4th. In row number 3, you got William Brown in that 48 car starting 5th, with the 22 of Joe Archer officially becoming part of the Midwest crew for getting paint jobs and all that stuff ready. He's going to be starting here in 6th. Connor Darnell in the 97 is going to be starting here in 7th, with Austin Lapari. He's going to be moving up here from kind of maybe skipping a few levels. He's going to be starting in 8th. Sneaky Pete Van Sprundle is going to be starting here in 9th, with Matthew Geesty in that 29 car. He's going to be rounding out that top 10.
The 96 of Derek Shim will be starting in 11th. Josh Fassbender in the 14 will be starting in 12th. Justin Malarkey in the 18 machine starting in 13th. Joshua Grasso in 11, starting in 14th place. The 60 of Alan Kewen starting 15th. Taver Mowry in the 5 starting 16th. Gary Sack in the 89 starting 17th. And Tim Harmon in the 73 car starting in 18th.
That is the starting grid here for duel. I almost said heat, but we're not doing heat races here. We're doing duels, and
yeah, kind of.
it's a modified heat as these guys start going around. And this is our first look here at the new rescan Daytona that iRacing just put in. So we might see a few more interesting little things out there around the track that we hadn't seen before. And just something to kind of keep in mind here as Michelob and Dixon go side by side, following that pace car, getting ready to take to this green flag to get the duels underway here. Duel number 1. And we are in for a great show. 25 laps, no fast repairs. It's gonna get interesting, especially towards the end of these little heats and whatnot. So let's bring it on down as they come down and across the line. Side by side, great restart there. Everyone looking pretty clean, keeping both lines. Oh, you can see there the 48 quickly jumping up to that outside. So he's going to try to jump up and help that 31 of Alan Dixon, as, man, he had no help. Everyone bailed out on him.
Yeah, it looked like the inside line was a little bit tighter on that restart. Buckley in the 26 moving down, but the 48 saying, I'll get up there and help you, Slider. So William Brown always running pretty strong in the Midwest Days of Thunder up there behind the 31, saying, I'll give you a little push. Pretty tight down low. A lot of people are going to want to stay on that inside line for as long as they can here tonight. We may see a little bit of different strategies later, but I think a lot of the guys like to run the inside just as long as they can, just to click off some laps. This race will go pretty quick, though. It is only 25 laps. So the aggression will pick up a little quicker tonight, I guess, than it usually would in a longer race, say, 60, 75 laps. But not just yet as we come around and on our second lap here.
Yeah, and you can see there, that top line, I mean, they're all formed up, but they really haven't gathered up any of that momentum to try to take them back up to the front there. I mean, the 48 of Brown and the 31 of Dixon still kind of nose to tail trying to work whatever magic they can. But, man, that 26 of Michael Buckley, he's been behind the 84 of Hornbeck. They've been hanging around doing a pretty good job on that low line. You can also see the 5 of Connor Darnell. He's racing a interesting pace scheme down there that he's been doing pretty well in this duel so far. And Sneaky Pete Van Sprundle, yeah. But, man, look at that outside. That outside, even though they were formed up, they got nowhere.
Yeah, they're trying to stick together as much as they can, but there's more cars on the inside, and it's just a shorter distance. And they're not trying to side draft or anything just yet. I think they're content just to kind of ride where they're at. They know that some yellow flag action is coming. You just don't know when it's going to happen. Me, I'd rather want to be, if I'm towards the back like that, I'm going to dive to the inside where I maybe have a little bit better escape path when that, that first yellow flag does happen.
That's kind of what we're seeing here as these guys continue to kind of go around here and tick away laps. It looks like, everybody's just getting content, going down, making it single file, just taking their time. I mean, it looks like the people up at the front, looks like, is that Joe Archer in that 56 car? It's, the 22 of Joe Archer there. He's looks like he's just going to try to maybe go to the back, let the craziness happen all in front of him, give him a chance to get through it, and end up maybe picking up a win, because there's no fast repairs. If you get any damage here, especially plate tracks, man, that's you can just kiss your race goodbye.
Yeah, the best thing you can hope for is to hope other people get really tore up and go in and just try to bang out as much damage as you can and try to make some attrition positions. We see that a lot at super speedways. Guys will park it until somebody else wrecks, and they think, well, if I stayed out just a few more laps, I could have took another couple of positions. And that could help you next week. I mean, a couple of extra positions, to maybe determine whether, you're going to be around a teammate or not. You never know.
You're not wrong there. I mean, just kind of looking through this field, it really doesn't look like we have any teammates all that much together. I know the 5 of Mallory and the 48 of Brown, they're tied together there, part of that Latte Motorsports team. Justin Malarkey's kind of all out there on his own. The 96 of Derek Schimmel's out there kind of on his own, no teammate. But like I said, this is where you kind of have to make your frenemies. You got to make some friends here early and, establish a good rapport. Because, I mean, I don't know about you, though. I'm always willing to go for a win. But at the same time, if I just got pushed by somebody for the last 25 laps or so, and he's sitting there in front of me, and it looks like I'm probably not going to get a win, but I can push him for that win, I'll give up that chance of dumping him and trying to cross the line in front of him. I'll sit there and make sure he gets that win.
Some of these guys might have that kind of loyalty mentality. I think there's a couple of guys out here that would say, "Hey, if it was the other way around, you wouldn't have helped me," So I don't know how many of those guys are actually like that, but to me, it's really, really hard to justify continuing to push somebody when there's one lap to go if you got a chance yourself. Don't try to go and pass them on the outside and screw yourself. But I mean, because you'd be screwing them too. But doing something, maybe giving them a bump, trying to move them a little bit. You may see some of that, but still too early to tell by far.
Yeah, you can see there you had a little bit of a charge from the 48 and the 5. Brown and Mallory working on that outside, now jumping back into line. And that maybe faked some people out. We saw Gary Sack in the 89 trying to jump on that tail end, make a run up towards the front. But now you've got Justin Malarkey and Pete Van Sprundle on that outside.
So Gary Sack's catching that draft. He's got a heck of a run coming now. He's going to catch those other 2 cars on the outside. And look behind him. There's Joe Archer in the outside line again. Oh, and he's got a little bit of extra help. That's a 14, I believe, of Josh Fassbender. So outside starting to get a few more takers now. Let's see if they can get some momentum going. As
Richard Michelob Gray in that 110 car continues to lead this one around, but we do have a couple cars here just off the back end of the field. That's the 60 of Special K, Alan Kewins, and the 73, Tim Harmon. Teammates all working together, part of the Angry Idiots team there. I like their play of, kind of being way back off the tail end, making sure they're very clear of whatever could possibly happen in front of them. But at the same time, if this thing goes green, you just kind of really, really screwed yourself.
Well, I bet they had a talk beforehand and said, you know what, if we're going to stick together, and if we stick together and we end up, in the back because it goes green, so be it. We'll start in the back at Daytona. We'll still be together. So together for BFFs on the track forever, no matter where they finish. So we'll see if they can make some tracks, though, if we get a caution.
Yeah, as we continue to turn laps here in duel number 1, 16 laps to go. Man, that's 80 of Pete Van Sprundle on the outside of William Brown right now. That outside line slowly inching their way forward, trying to make up some ground. It's a very slow process. This is where some patience needs to come into play for these drivers, especially if they want to try to make that outside line work.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Patience is the name of the game here. We want to thank our folks on YouTube for watching. Learning for Life says, good luck, everybody. David Hendricks says, don't die. And Matt Thorne saying, howdy, fellers. I can't do his voice really well, but it goes a little something like that.
Man,
Thanks to all y'all for joining us on all of our streaming platforms. We really appreciate it.
Just do the opposite of a Boston accent, add R's to everything.
Sorry, I had to mute myself. Had a train going by.
Oh, as we got somebody going down off the track, that's the 14 of Josh Fassbender. I wonder what happened to him.
I don't know, but it was off the racing surface, it appears.
Oh! Did he get a little loose and get spun around a little bit? Let's take a look here from the chopper cam. We're paying attention to that 14 car. He's riding up in that high line, trying to follow down low, and oh man, he was not clear to Joe Archer's bumper there, and so we had a single car spin, able to keep it together there, and he decided to maybe do a little Daytona 24 practice here tonight as he went through that bus stop.
Well, the important thing is minimal damage to his vehicle, and Joe Archer might have a little right front fender damage, but As long as he stays right behind somebody, it shouldn't really show itself. It might be a few extra seconds banging that out if he does have to stop. Jason Ricketts also joining us on YouTube. No stranger to MDOT. Been around for a long time. Appreciate you, Jason. He says, howdy, everybody.
So we take a look at that front end. Yeah, a little touch of damage there on Joe Archer, but it should not hurt him that much. But man, you definitely said it, or you didn't say it. I said it in my head. I had a whole conversation going on as we're 3 wide here in the back.
I could read your brain.
But I was gonna say, you know, it's one of those. Damn it! I lost it. I had it and I lost it. I'll get it back. Lazy Susan, don't come back.
I tell you what, old Gary Sack, check him out. Up 12 positions, sitting in 5th. Gary Sack, the third in the 89 car, about to try to steal himself a top 5. He's going to be starting. If he can hold that position, he's going to have a pretty damn good starting spot for next week at Daytona.
Yeah, see, Lazy Susan comes back around. That's the added benefit of having a live spotter here in these races. You know, we see it from Justin Malarkey. We know Isaac Wilson is his kind of spotter and crew chief, letting them know what's going on out there on the track. But, you know, sometimes that iRacing spotter will say you're clear, and, man, you are not clear.
Yeah, there's a little tiny bit of lag in there. I mean, he could say you're clear, or he's, you know, in the process of telling you car high or car low, and it just doesn't get to you in time enough for you to react. So, yeah, we've seen that 1,000 times. A guy coming down thinking he's clear, just barely touched Joe Archer's right front fender and sit himself down into the grass. Could have been a lot worse, I'll tell you that.
Yes, it could have. As Richard Michelob Gray comes across the line, 11 laps here to go in duel number 1. And I don't know about you, English. If you're Michelob, you got to wonder. I don't know if these guys have the amount of fuel that they can safely lead a charge of, you know, 25 laps out there in the front. I mean, you're basically pulling this entire train of cars along. And, I mean, you can kind of see it. The 84 of Hornbeck really hasn't been pushing that much. He's just been kind of hanging out, allowing to, you know, ease himself in and maybe save a little bit of that fuel just in case. Because if we get a green-white checker, man, and you're sitting there close, a pit stop could definitely hurt you.
Yeah, now we look at the 23, trying to see if any takers will join him on the outside, but looks like that Army number 23 car is going to start sliding back because he doesn't have anybody up there to help him.
Oh, he does not, and he's got a long way to go for that field to complete its way around him. I mean, he's doing all right. He's not falling back fast. If someone wanted to open a spot for him to kind of try to slide into, it looks like he's going to have a slot here between the 48 and the 9, and he will take it. So I think William Brown might... Oh, no, he was not up to speed. He wasn't able to jump down there in time, so it looks like maybe Taver Mowry's going to allow him in. Just getting maybe a little bit of that good graces going on there. As, man, here comes that 48. He's got the 24, which looks like it's the 11 of Josh Grosso up there. Looked like he might have been peeking to that outside, but no, he's going to stay there. Oh, no. Or was that 24 car, the 96 of Derek Schimmel?
Yeah, I think it's the 96. I think that's Schimmel.
Man, not racing his typical Hooters car here tonight.
The 110 and Richard Gray, he's got to feel great up there. He's led every lap so far, started on the pole, and let's face it, these Cup cars, the draft package that they have on these Cup cars, it's going to be hard to get him out of the lead for these guys that are behind him. You really have to have a united effort to get up there and get... This is not trucks at Talladega, folks. If that was the case, you know, coming out of 4, if Richard was leading, you know that they're going to come around him with a couple of trucks running together, big drafty trucks. We got an outside line, look like Foreman again, the 18 and the 80 jumping out there. Let's see if they stay there. The 18 says no, and Pete Vance Frontal in the Wendy's Where's the Beef Machine does not have a gap to jump back down. So,
But he's got William Brown coming up. He's going to try to maybe push something here going up the outside. As we were taking a ride there with William, you can just see, because he was originally on that outside, but, lost a whole chunk of momentum there and tucked back in line. You can see them try to work their way up, try to catch up to that 15, but I don't know if they're going to be able to make it, the 18, as I don't know if they're going to be able to make it up to Malarkey.
Slider Dixon right here at the back of this lead pack. He's got a little bit of gap back to Joe Archer. That's not much. That's enough to still give draft help to Archer and the 22, 56, whatever number he is. But, I bet Richard's starting to feel the pressure now. We're coming up on 20 to go now. Or, I'm sorry, 10 to go.
We got 6 laps to go here. Now,
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Now that we've been green quite a while here, and other than that little incident there with Josh Fassbender, everything's been pretty clean. Haven't seen too much kind of sketchy movement of bobbing and weaving, changing lanes or anything like that. But here comes that 84. He's deciding, all right, now's the time. It's time to get real. Bailing out on the 110 of Michelob. And look at this. The first 4 cars behind Michelob are all looking to that outside, so Michelob's being left all alone out there at the front.
Richard should have recognized, man. He got to get up there. Oh, looks like Hornbeck's going to get him here.
Trying to.
He is clear. Let's see. He's going to go ahead and come down. He's going to take a couple cars with him, at least the 26 of Buckley.
Yeah, that he will, as you also got the 97 of Connor Darnell racing that 5 Valvoline car here tonight. He's clear. He could jump down, but he's trying to maybe help out. Oh, as he comes down, man, that got really close, and there we go.
5 is airborne.
Airborne, bumbling and tumbling down into turn 3 and 4. Oh, it's Richard having a problem. Oh.
No damage. Man alive, if Richard would have recognized that outside line was all together, he could have jumped up there.
And unfortunately for that 5, I think that's going to be a race for him tonight, because he's going to have a ton of damage. Let's go back and take a look and see what happened here. Oh, man.
Yeah, the 5, otherwise known as the 97, kind of moved down. Richard kind of not wanting to left. He wanted to try to hold that position and move up a little bit. We just kind of ran out of room there.
Yeah, moved up into the middle. Everyone doing a great job to scatter there as Michelob, oh man, ends up being able to make it through that wreck. Let's see who got a good view of this. Oh, he's straight up ramped right over Justin Malarkey. Let's take a right around here with Malarkey. Oh, little teleportation action going through that car, but yeah, Malarkey getting a little lucky with that net code and lack of actual contact, so he's able to get away from that scot-free. Same thing with a lot of people in the back of this field, man. That could have been a whole lot worse for a lot of these guys.
It really could have been. A lot of guys really doing a great job of avoiding that accident right there, finding an escape path. Go where they ain't. And do the best you can and get that thing slowed down.
Well, and with that caution, we're going to end up getting a green-white checker finish here in duel number 1, which, if you remember the Xfinity Series duels, I think both duels ended up going to a green-white checker.
I think they both did. The second duel, I think they only used one. Or they used one that wasn't really a green-white checker. It was basically, green flag with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't say that we told you so with, people riding around maybe picking and choosing their partners and whatnot, but I mean, we saw this one kind of coming. It was everyone being very patient for the first 20 laps of this, 25 lap race. And then you just saw it. There are 4 or 5 cars all bumping out to that outside line, leaving Michelob all alone.
Yep, you had a couple different guys from a couple of different teams working together, jump into that outside line, and trying to make that run around Michelob in that Latte Motorsports number 110.
And that's going to give the lead to Mike Hornbeck in that 84. Michael Buckley in that 26 is going to be starting on that outside here once we go back green. But man, someone who's in a really good spot, the 89 of Gary Sack, up 14 spots in this duel. He's going to be starting right behind that leader, and that's a very, very good spot to be.
Yeah, he's been pretty safe tonight, running a lot of outside line stuff, taking care of his car, not making a whole lot of real risky moves. But, yeah, finds himself going to be the second car on that inside line. So that's an important place to be. I hope Gary's ready to do some pushing.
As everybody starts to get into their respective lanes, you got the lights on that pace car turned off. So your restarting order here: Mike Hornbeck, Michael Buckley, Gary Sack, Richard Michelob Gray, Matthew Geesty, Justin Malarkey, Alan Slider Dixon, Joe Archer, Taver Mowry, Derek Schimmel. And I mean, that's just your top 10. You also got Josh Grosso, you got Austin Lapari, you got Josh Fassbender. I don't think Fassbender is going to be really... excuse me, it's not a... Man, it's tough when people's card numbers aren't quite right.
Yeah, I think he's sitting in 12th. He's running back there with the 24 of Schimmel, which is the 96 of Schimmel.
Yes. Man, the 5 of Taver Mowry, he's got some damage probably from that what caused the yellow here. He's we got to watch and see what happens with him, because he might be very, very slow here on this restart.
He's missing some parts on the back. Not sure if they're as important as the parts on the front, but they're all kind of important here.
That they are, and I mean, the best thing you can say is, well, he's not going to overheat. That's for certain.
True.
But that pace car making that dive down into pit lane, which means it's time to buckle up, strap on that drinking helmet, throw inhibition out the window. Green, white, checker racing here at Daytona in duel number 1. Mike Hornbeck leading this charge around on that bottom side as Michael Buckley in that 26 tries to gather up that momentum and make a charge here with Richard Michelob Gray right behind him. He's also got Justin Malarkey got some help on that outside, as well as the 89 of Gary Sack and the 29 of Matthew Geesty. He's got some help there, as well as the 18 slides down into that bottom line here as we come down this back straightaway, getting ready to take to this white flag.
Mowry went all the way down to the apron and let the field pass. I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, the inside line looks like they got a little bit of an advantage as Hornbeck leads Sack and the 29 machine of Matthew Geesty, or Geisty, or however you say it, bud. Please let us know that we're saying it wrong here.
As
But
Mike,
the outside line, 2 cars ain't going to happen here.
yeah, it's definitely not going to happen as we take to that white flag, so it will end on this lap. No more cautions here for duel number 1, and man, you can see just the entire spread out of the field. We actually have a little bit of a chase pack going on there as Taver Mowry, with all that damage, not able to keep it up even in the draft. He's just going to fade back kind of off into the distance as Mike Hornbeck still getting a great push there from the 89 of Sack. He is all over that back bumper. He's got to be careful to make sure it's all squared up as they make the final turn. Coming here out of 4, going to enter into the tri-oval. Here comes Matthew Geesty looking towards that outside, trying to get a run, but it's going to be a little too late. And Mike Hornbeck picking up the win here in duel number 1, followed by Gary Sack and then Matt Geesty in that 29.
Well, at least we'll get to talk to Matt, and he can tell us if we're saying his name wrong or not. But great job by Mike Hornbeck. He did put in some extra practice today. As Gary Sack goes spinning after the race is over with. But good job by him, too, in that 89.
Yeah, it was a little. It was an exciting finish, but it definitely wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to have 3-4 wide as we came across the line there, but everybody just kind of sat around and sat in that bottom line.
I think once again you have to put it to this is how the Cup cars are set up now. I mean, you can't get huge, gigantic runs like you can with the trucks, and they've just pulled so much power out of these things that sometimes you can jump to the outside and try to make a run, make a pass, but as we saw there with Matt in the 29, you just couldn't quite get there.
As we sit here and watch Mike Hornbeck do a couple little burnouts there, not getting too excited with it because he wants to win the real Daytona as we come up there next week. But let's go down and start talking with some of our podium finishers, and that's going to be that third place finisher of Matthew Geesty, as we get to find out how to exactly say his last name. Matt, how do we say your last name, buddy?
It's Gusty, like the wind.
Gusty, all right.
Damn, we were 2 strikes.
2 strikes. Well, Matt Gusty here, able to finish with a third place podium finish in duel number 1, man. It looked like it was nice and calm there just about through that entire first 20 laps, and then things got a little crazy up at the front, but everyone able to re-rack it up, and it was just a solid, smooth finish from there on out for you.
Yeah, I was surprised to finish where I did. Like, I randomly last minute was like, all right, I'll try the shootout because I just joined the ARCA series yesterday. So I was shocked to actually be able to make it out of the duel.
Well, how much running have you done on, the new scan of Daytona that we're running today, and then the one that in the past time? When did this one come out? Here a few days ago. Do you notice any difference on the oval part of it? We know that they changed some of the road stuff, but is there any difference out there on the oval portion as far as bumps and whatnot?
I haven't noticed too much. It seems like it may be smoother. I don't know. I haven't been able to notice much. Not really. I like it better, though. I've done better.
Oh, well, man, you definitely can't argue with a P3 finish here tonight. And, man, I guess Michelob Gray and his road crew's been out there fixing all those potholes that you might see around Daytona. But you know what? For tonight at the Duels, pretty great finish. That means I believe next week you're going to be starting there in row number 3 at the official start of the season here. What are your expectations for that race?
I'm not sure. I haven't raced with many of these guys before, but I hope it looks like it should. From racing with these guys, it looks like it should be definitely a clean, fun race.
Well, you definitely earned your spot in, and we look forward to seeing you next week. And congratulations on P3.
Well, thank you very much, guys. Thanks for having me.
Bet.
All right, so we'll now move on up to our second place finisher, and we talked to him at the Duels in the Xfinity car. So, Gary, you're having a good duel session here, coming away with a second place finish right behind Mike Hornbeck there. I was surprised we didn't see you make a move there late.
Yeah, what was going through my mind was I had Angel watching that outside lane for me. If there was enough cars out there, I probably would have made a move, but I just didn't see enough cars for it, so I was just happy to finish the second.
So, talk about a little bit of the differences between running these Cup cars, this Cup package, and running the Xfinity. I mean, I think Alan Brown's with me on this. I think the Xfinity is a little bit. It's not just a little bit harder of a car to drive, but it's a little bit easier to build up some passing speed and stuff in the Xfinity cars than the Cup cars. Is that kind of what y'all see as drivers out there in the Cup series?
Yeah, the Xfinity cars definitely have a better draft package than the Cup cars do right now. Hopefully the next gen's going to fix all that but right now it was just really hard to build up a good enough run to make passes in the Cup cars.
Well, you did a great job. You hung around out there in the back, making your move at the right time. So you got the hard charger of the day tonight here, up 15 spots. Was that kind of part of your strategy all race long, or was it just kind of just how it happened?
For me, it was more just I wanted to start out of the back because I wanted to get more experience in these cars. because I don't drive these cars very much compared to the Xfinity cars and trucks. But I'm glad that I managed to bring it up here, though.
Well, you put the work in, and congrats. You're going to have a pretty good starting spot next week at Daytona.
Yep.
And also joined here in the booth, we got that 84 of Mike Hornbeck. And man, Mike, you were riding around behind Michelob all race long, and when it came down to it, man, you started to jump up to that outside and make that charge, and then that yellow came out. But man, ever since then, you definitely didn't look back. Was that kind of your plan? Just sit around, maybe hang behind the leader, and make your move with about 6 laps to go?
Yeah, that was pretty much my plan. And then I had my teammate behind me, so with about 5 or 6 to go, we made the move the outside, and we were able to clear Michelob, and that was our plan.
I was just baffled and flabbergasted. I'm like, does Richard not see what's going on here? He just had 5 cars moving together, going to the outside line. Were y'all expecting him to move up and maybe try to block and join the outside line? Or, I mean, it looks like he had time to do it. He just never made that move. And I was kind of sitting here wondering why.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked he didn't jump to the outside when he seen all of us jump up out there. He was lone man sitting on the inside, so I was really surprised he didn't move up there.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that runs plate races just constantly. And I thought, man, alive. I know he doesn't have a live spotter, but he's got a mirror. And I thought for sure he was going to jump up there. But, yeah, congrats on the win. We saw you running around with them guys, way after everybody else had parked their cars, and you were out there running with some guys and some newer guys out there on the track and just kind of getting a feel for it. Did you notice any difference between this new scan and the old scan at Daytona?
Not so much as far as the track goes. This is really my first race in these Cup cars, so I was just trying to get the feel of them versus the Xfinity cars and trying to figure out how they drive and how to get runs and stuff like that.
Well, then, yeah, go ahead and talk about that a little bit, because, I mean, obviously, your learning curve, I mean, went through the roof there and able to pick up the win, and so that means you're going to be starting P1 here at the official start of the season next week. But I got a feeling those Xfinity cars, man, they drive a whole lot different from these things.
They really do. This car, it seems to be smoother, but it doesn't seem to build up the jump out and pass speed like the Xfinity cars do.
I think that's kind of a lot of people's consensus is that, you can have your foot to the floor and you expect, to sniff a little draft off somebody and kind of move the outside and maybe get a little side draft on them, and you can make passes that way. Not so in these Cup cars, it seems.
No, if you don't have good help, I don't think you're making too many passes.
Well, you definitely had the help tonight, and you walked away here the winner in duel number 1. Congratulations, Mike. Good to have you up here in the Cup, and we look forward to seeing what you can do this upcoming season, bud.
Hey, I appreciate it. Look forward to it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man, congrats.
All right. Well, Mr. English, that's duel number 1 in the books here for us tonight.
Yeah, man, it didn't disappoint. I mean, we saw a lot of action. We saw a lot of green flag racing, which, at a plate track like this, that's a pleasant thing to see is see a lot of green flag laps. But there's a lot of passing and stuff that was going on. There was a lot of strategy that was going on. Guys, trying to figure out who they could work with and stuff like that. But, yeah, it was still fun to watch, even though you didn't get, necessarily the big one. Well, we had one that was pretty big, but I mean, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, and I mean, it in total, so that meant that this was actually a very quick race. I mean, we were done here, within 30 minutes. It was a extremely quick duel that went on here. But on that note, we do have a second duel to get to, so let's do the finishing order for duel number 1, which is going to be that starting row inside line for the official Daytona race coming up here next week. Mike Hornbeck is going to be leading that charge with Gary Sack right behind him. Matthew Gusty, now that we know how to say his name, is going to be in row number 3 with Justin Malarkey in row number 4. Alan Slider Dixon able to start there in row number 5 with Derek Schimmel, the original Angry Idiot. Now he's just a super serial individual. He's going to be in row 6. Joe Archer is going to be in row 7 with Michael Buckley, row 8. Austin Lapari is going to be in row 9 with Richard Michelob Gray in that 10th row.
73 of Tim Harmon will be starting in the 11th row on the inside next week. Pete Van Sprundle in the 80 machine, finishing 12th tonight. The 60 of Alan Kewins in 13th. Joshua Grosso in the 11 car, he'll be starting inside row 14 next week. Josh Fassbender in the 14 will be starting inside row 15. 48 of William Brown. Not really what we expected out of William Brown tonight, and I'm sure he's disappointed in his finish tonight because that 48 is usually fast and way up front. But hey, this pack racing, you really never can tell. He started 5th and finished 16th tonight. Tabor Mowry, same kind of story. He started near the back, though, tried to move up some, and that 5 machine just couldn't quite get it done. He'll be starting inside row 17 next week. And 97 of Connor Darnell, a few laps down, had a bad wreck, ended up on his roof. I believe he had a tow. I don't think it ever flipped back over from being on its roof. But a lot of airtime tonight for Connor. Not what he wanted to see, but he'll still be starting next week, his first cup race inside row 18.
Yeah, and as I know, we got some people now tuning in onto those social medias. We see Albert Anderson joining us here tonight on the Facebook. Great to have you out here, Albert. We're just finishing up here. Going to be moving on to duel number 2 in just a minute. So we'll be taking a quick break, switching sessions, kind of getting everything all re-scrambled, getting Alan's cooler all stocked back up and ready to go. So look for us to come back live here in about 10 minutes or so, and we'll have a duel number 2 underway, or about ready to get underway there. And we look forward to having you all with us for that one. So stick around and join us here for duel number 2.
Well.
the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Ladies and gentlemen, you wanted the best, you can forget the rest. The greatest show on the internet, the Midwest Days of Thunder.
I mean, it's going to be a dog fight, a marathon. These guys are going to have to scrap. I mean, it's going to be a dog fight, a marathon. These guys are going to have to scrap their way out of it, and they're going to have to battle.
These drivers are going to have to manage their tires, manage their tempers, manage their cars, because that wall, when you come out of 4, comes up mighty quick.
You can run a bunch of different groups here. I mean, it's not just follow the leader. The draft will have something to do with it.
So maybe finding that landmark, your lift and brake point, maybe a little bit more difficult here. They're going to have to kind of do it by feel.
It's really about grip. It's about, you gotta watch your sides, especially going through that dog leg. It's gonna be really easy to lose where all the other cars are around you. Just gotta survive the battle out there. You're gonna beat and bang. You got tempers flaring. If you survive this battle, you're gonna get yourself a good finish.
Almost impossible to pass here. So a lot of the passing for position that you're going to see on the track is because somebody messed up.
I'm sad that Michelob's leaving us because he...
And welcome back, everybody, to Duel number 2 here in the Midwest Days of Thunder Cup Series. And we're in for another exciting 25 laps here at Daytona. And this one's going to be setting that starting outside line here coming up next week at the official start of the season. But man, we got a special guest in the broadcast booth here tonight with us. He participated in the Duel number 1, and he is the kind of league owner, the head honcho. That is Mr. Taver Maurer. Taver, great to have you out here with us for Duel number 2.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Love the stuff that you guys do. Figured I can give a little bit driver insight on what's going on, and you know, just shoot the crap with y'all.
Man, and you know what? That's definitely needed here in these Cup cars, because we were watching and we were kind of expecting some things to happen, but you know, we saw there it was very hard to pass in the Duel number 1, and that outside line, as much as it wanted to work, it really didn't work that well.
Yeah, man. It's tough, right? Because the outside line, it takes a lot of cars to get up there, and you gotta have people that aren't just gonna bail when, you know, they see an opening, and it's tough, right? Because now you just get that single file racing, and it's kind of boring. It's boring to watch. It's boring to drive. I hate the package that they have on these cars, but we just got to figure out the way to manipulate it and just kind of get up there like the old package.
We talked a little bit about this off air, about, you know, sticking with the devil you know, which is basically this Gen 6 car, at least for the rest of this season until they get more data on the next gen. The great thing about the way you have the league schedule set up is that you guys don't run super speedway pack racing every week. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that this Cup car is good at on mile and a halves and road courses and whatnot, even short track stuff. So it's not all bad with this package. It's just it's not great at pack racing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. This car is my favorite to drive at mile and a halves, 1 miles. Even at short tracks, they're really fun to drive. And honestly, I'll take this car over a GT3 or a GTE car any day of the week on a road course. I just love how difficult they are to drive. And to us, we felt like the next gen car really wasn't, you know, there yet to kind of go to it this season. We kind of wanted to wait for the data to come in, you know, to get some, you know, real world data, not just computer generated data. And just really see how the car kind of progresses. I mean, I think 3 days ago was really the first time that even NASCAR got these cars at Daytona and really saw what they were capable of and how the draft works. So, and we're starting the season tonight. So what do? You go with the safe bet. You go with the Gen 6 car.
Yeah, man, and you know, that's not a terrible decision. I think really the only better decision you could have made is go with the COT car, but you know, that one's that one's gonna be a little too much for some of these guys. And We'll get there. iRacing will get there. They'll figure their stuff out here as qualifying is completed. Let's go ahead and go through tonight's starting grid here, starting with up at the front, Stephen McComas having a great job there. He's going to be starting on that pole position with that feller, Matt Forns, in the 10. He's going to be starting on that outside. Red Stick Mike Simone in the 27 car, going to be starting inside row number 2 with Corey Wakefield right outside of him. You got the 42 of Angel Hernandez, winner last season of the Xfinity Series, looking to continue his championship kind of winning trend here going on. He's going to be starting 5th with Justin Barkley. He's going to be starting in 6th. In 7th, we got two-time Joe Nidick, one of your teammates there, Taver. He's going to be starting here 7th with Jason Ricketts in 8th. Isaac Degner is going to be starting here 9th with the 6 of Tony Fry rounding out that top 10.
I've got Andrew Kolb starting in 10th, but him and Fry kind of took off together there. So you got Andrew Kolb in the 11. You got the 92 of Greg Klein, one of the Angry Idiots right there, starting in 12th. Ethan Flanagan in the 35 machine starting in 13th, and Justin Malarkey in the 73 starting at the back of the field in the 14th position.
Negative, sir. He was in duel number 1.
Then why is he on here?
Because he misclicked, probably.
Okay.
He probably joined as a driver instead of.
I've done that before. I can't give him any crap for it.
Yep, it's confusing sometimes.
But
it's hard.
I'm really excited for this duel. You got some really good drivers. You got the Xfinity champ and you got the Cup Series champion here. It's gonna be awesome.
Yes, that it will be indeed, and 25 laps is what stands in the way here of these drivers on setting up that outside grid line. And excuse me, as we come around turns 3 and 4 behind the pace car. These guys are all ready. They saw a great show, great 20-plus laps of green flag racing in the duel before them, so they know what to expect here tonight as the pace car makes that dive here down pit road, getting ready to come on down and come across, take the green flag for the first time here tonight. Stephen McComas, Matt Forn, side by side as the green flag waves. Duel number 2 underway here in Midwest Days of Thunder Cup Series.
You know, these guys were paying attention during that first duel. They were watching not just their teammates and their probably somewhat watching their owners, but they were trying to see what was working and what wasn't. We did see a little bit of a surprise towards the end of that last race as Richard Gray, you know, he had 5 cars running to the outside of him. A couple of them were latte cars of yours, Taver. Why did Richard come up there and try to block?
Well, man, you said he did come up and block. He didn't. I didn't really have a good view of it, but man, that outside line, I mean, even as you see it here, the 16 car is starting to die out. He's got no one to go with him. Everybody's afraid to jump to that outside line because in the 98 moves down behind the 24. Everybody's afraid to go to that bottom or that outside line because that is exactly what we're seeing right here. This draft package is terrible for that outside line, and that 16 is begging to get in front of that 42.
Well, the 10 kind of took advantage there, Alan. He dove down as fast as he could and got that front spot away from McComas as the 10 is going to come across the start-finish line here in about a half a lap or so and lead another lap up in front. They're kind of too wide behind him, though.
You know, that they are, and that's going to cause an interesting situation here as that chase pack is about half a second behind them now. So we got like a 3-car runaway here, something you might see in, you know, like the Tour de France, riding those little bicycles up and down those hills. But you don't normally see that here at these plate tracks. Normally everyone's all grouped up, bunched up, and, you know, going racing. But right now, it looks like it's going to be very difficult here for that 42 to try to make up some ground and catch back on up to everybody.
Yeah, a few positions behind him. You got Justin Barkley in the 9 machine, jumped on down right in front of Jason Ricketts, and Ricketts came on the radio and said, "Hey man, that was a little bit too close for comfort." And the 9 kind of told him, "Hey man, I'm sorry, but hey, I was told I was clear." He jumped down there. He's now a part of this single file line that's trying to catch this lead pack of 3 cars.
Yeah, that's a cool thing about us, right? The Midwest Days of Thunder is that since these guys, teams are split into 2. We usually have 4 people on each team. Teams are split into 2. You're going to have live spotters. You're going to have people actually telling you what's going on instead of that iRacing spotter who's sometimes not exactly accurate. And that window may close, and you may be right, you may be clear for that split second, but that window's going to close, and it's going to close fast.
We saw a little of that between Archer and another car, didn't we, Mr. Brown, in the last duel?
Yeah, that we did. One of the Joshes, by the remembrance here, as man, once when that 24 of Night got up into that back bumper of Angel Hernandez, man, look at the run that these guys are getting now, and Hernandez looking to the outside, but no one's gonna go with him, knowing that situation on that outside. So he's probably going to end up going all the way kind of towards the back end of this field here.
That's unfortunate. Yeah. We saw that happen a lot in your race, Taver. Guys that would jump out and say, all right, somebody come with me. And then you lost 8 positions there, bud, because nobody would let you in on the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, in that first duel, me and William Brown, the 48, we made ourselves almost all the way up to the top. And then, like just happened there. Someone just started poking back down to the bottom. I gotta say something about the 24. The 24 is one of the best pushers at super speedways. Dude will get you to the back of the next car in front of you. It's so hard too, because here, as you see in the back, people are starting to already lose the draft because of the checkup on the bottom line.
Yeah, a couple of those guys that are currently falling back is the 6 of Tony Fry, the 92 of Greg Klein falling off that back. I know those two will work together and get to kind of try to maybe make a run here, maybe get a caution here towards the end. But yeah, that's something you normally wouldn't see out of Fry or Klein. Both of those guys tend to run really hard up towards that front.
Well, Taver, give us a little insight. We watched you run in that first duel, and we did see you on the apron at least once, letting the field by. Was it because of something you saw that you didn't like, or we're getting a little hot? What happened there when you went down the apron and let half the field by, it looked like?
So I was just underpowered. To me, if I'm underpowered, I'm just going to get out of the way. Backstretch is the perfect opportunity to get out of the way. I'm not going to hold people up because I'm underpowered.
That's something we see a lot with this league, is the sportsmanship and stuff that you guys foster with the new guys and guys that are moving up. This is a progressive league, which is great. You guys have a ladder, basically, that you move up. And you don't move up by being one of those guys that's, out there to screw everybody. You kind of help set the example of sportsmanship out there, and we enjoy watching that kind of race.
Yeah, I mean, it all starts with the admin team that I have, right? Matt, Derek, Barkley. Ooh, that was a big choke in the 16. All those guys do a heck of a job assisting the league and just really finding good quality people. And the thing that really kills a bunch of leagues out there is that the admin team finds people they really like, and they treat them completely different than other drivers. And that doesn't happen here. Like, we're the first to admit if we messed up, we messed up, and like, we'll take credit for it. No one gets any favoritism here. No one is above anyone else.
If people are looking for a racing home, if they're looking for a league that can join, because you guys are looking for people to fill your truck series, dirt series, ARCA series, and then move up from there, what do they need to do to find us, find you guys and start racing with you guys?
So I would message our Facebook page, which is it will be posted on the MDOT site on Facebook. Get in contact with that. We'll kind of get you in our Discord and get you ready to set up. The thing that kind of is a little wishy-washy right now, and I think I have this idea that I haven't pitched it to the admin yet, so kind of little leak here of information. I am possibly thinking about opening up the other series to other drivers, just because I realize that Thursday night slot is hard for a lot of guys to get into to start. So maybe a little bit of structure change, but still kind of progressive style league that we're kind of doing.
Yeah, and I mean, not only that, as we continue to ride around here, kind of single file, led by that 10 of Matt Forms, driving that Kraken car. Surprised he's not starting off the season with his Vitamin R Rainier beer car. We saw that in duel number 1. We saw some guys that were, just joined as ARCA drivers, and look at that, they're already jumping up into Cup.
Yeah, that's something new that we started this year. So last week was the Clash at Lime Rock. Probably wasn't a great choice for the Clash, but it was something different. I wanted to try Lime Rock out in the Cup cars, you know, because as you guys know here, we go to some interesting places in our schedules. We don't like to just go to the same tracks every year and repeat and rinse and repeat. It's not kind of our thing. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not our thing here, and we like to keep it interesting. But yeah.
Speaking of new things, Tsukuba is one of those tracks that's on the schedule for this season. Have you run any Cup laps or anything at Tsukuba yet? I'm not sure if we've ran any practices there or anything yet. What are your expectations out of some of those cool tracks that are unique that NASCAR doesn't run that you guys are going to get to run in the Cup Series?
Oh man, I'm gonna be dead honest with you. I think Tsukuba is, I think that's how you say it. There's like 30 different pronunciations for that track that I've heard people say. I think that track, honestly, is gonna be the one that puts on the best show. With the stage racing coming, that track you put around 55-second laps there, so it's kind of a fast road course. It's gonna be tight. I think it's gonna bring out a lot of short track racing kind of vibes, and I think it's gonna be. I'm really looking forward to it, if I have to be honest with you. It's a great track. It feels great in a Cup car. Another one that I'm really looking forward to is Laguna Seca. A lot of people don't think the Cup car can go through the corkscrew, but I'm going to tell you this right now. When you hit that corkscrew and you hit it right, it is super satisfying.
You definitely can. Me and Brown have run in that other league we used to run in, Greg Klein's old league. We ran Cup cars at Laguna Seca. You can do it. You can get that car to turn down into that corkscrew and jump over that hill right there. You can get that thing to turn. It takes a little bit of practice, but as we've seen with a lot of the drivers in this league, they love to put in the practice and get better and better. And as we see the 42, here comes Angel Hernandez. He's got Jason Ricketts with him.
But
Jason's is one of those guys that loves to get in behind and try something new and maybe push somebody.
Yeah, this is the third attempt there at trying this, as the 98 kind of disappears for just a second there. And if anything, they've just been moving backwards and backwards, so they just don't have the numbers yet. It's almost like you need double the amount of cars on that outside that you do the inside.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing though. It's just like you're in the back, right? You see the 11 car of Andrew Toll. He was completely behind the 1 and 35. Now because the 42, the 1 and the 35 all decided to go up to the top, the 11's sneaking back into the picture, and that is exactly why no one wants to go to the high side, because you just lose so much ground and momentum, and if the 11 doesn't watch out and the 42 doesn't get in front of them, they may lose the draft.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Gary Stack joining us on YouTube saying, man, COTs at play tracks is amazing. I've done that before. It's scary as hell. I'm not going to lie. The damn COT car anywhere where you can get up to 250 miles an hour is scary as hell.
Yeah, it's an interesting car too, because you burn a lot of rubber in that car.
As Matt Forns continues to lead this one all the way around. He's got Stephen McComas sitting right behind him. Red Stick Mike Simone driving that 27 right behind him. Two-time Joe Nidick. I think that's going to be his official nickname from now on. He's sitting right there in fourth. In a pretty good spot there. Same thing with Corey Wakefield sitting in fifth. And I mean, yeah, it's just cruising around here, single file. Do you think we're going to see that massive, 4 or 5 cars all at once try to move up to that top line like we did in the first heat? Or you think guys are just like, you know what? The duel is whatever, and I just want to finish really good next week when they officially start this one off.
I think you may see it here. I think you may see it before the last lap. I don't know. What do you think, Tabor? You know these guys. You know their attitudes and stuff. Do you think a couple of guys like Joe might decide to jump outside and bring some guys with them?
I don't think Joe's going to be the one to do it, because like I said, like that outside line, it just rolls, or that inside line just rolls.
Look at here.
Barkley's trying it. And I think that if Barkley gets up there, the 24 will roll with him. But I don't think it's going to take a lot of cars. And if the 1 can catch up to behind the 42, we might have a chance, but I don't see that happening. That's the thing about this car or this package also is, you know, before you could get right up to each other's bumpers no problem and just shove and shove and shove. Now it takes forever, and it's just miserable. It's another reason why people lose the draft. People don't lose the draft because they're slow on the bottom line. They lose the draft because all the checkups, and they have to check up, and you check up, and you're losing half a second almost.
So if Matt Forrest was watching the first race, which we know he was, I don't think if he sees a bunch of guys jumping to the outside of him, I don't know, like 5 cars in a row, I don't see him making the same mistake. I love you, Richard, but man, you should have jumped up with them guys. I don't think Matt's going to do that. I think he'll try to just go and stop the progress wherever it's coming in his rearview mirror.
Yeah.
We now got 9 laps to go. Going to be coming across the line to go 8 laps to go. And, I mean, just kind of looking out there, there's not a whole lot of teammates that are, like, right next to each other to really kind of work together and make a game plan here. Everyone's got, you know, a car or two kind of in between each other. But, you know, that could also work to your favor as well. If you know the car a couple cars ahead of you is going to be like, hey, man, I'm going to jump out at this time, man. You can both jump out at the same time, carry whatever momentum you had from that bottom line, and maybe make up some ground. But here we go again. That 11 drifting out, maybe trying to test the waters here again. But, man, quickly finding out that that is not the way to go.
Hey, Tabor, as long as we've got you up here and we're under some green flag conditions, talk about some of the changes that are coming this season that we're about to start next week. We know we're going to have some fan of the race competitions and stuff like that. You want to speak to any of the changes that are coming down the pike this season?
True, there's a lot, and I think every single change that we made is going to be beneficial in some sort of way. A lot of last season was green flag runs, and why we love green flag runs, a part of racing is the yellows, right? Because green flag runs are awesome, but doing 150 laps at Charlotte all at once, it takes some endurance. So we implemented stage racing this year, and our stages are going to be, they're not set in percentages. Each race has its own set of stage laps. That is just kind of prevent people to kind of over strategize for it and just kind of make it randomized and make it to where, you know, people can't manipulate it at all. We implemented the choose rule, which I'm glad Matt Forns reminded me in this caution, the first duel. So the leader can now choose what lane they want. They have to do it coming around with 2 to green. Once they get the 1 to green, they then jump to whatever lane they wanted. Hornbeck wanted the bottom line, which he wasn't wrong in that, picking that. He won the race. Pretty awesome stuff. It's going to be really awesome to see how the choose rule works, because at places like Bristol, usually, you know, if you're the first place car, you're on that inside line, and you want the outside line at Bristol. So
Right.
It just depends on what your preference is, and I think it's going to change up the racing a lot. I think the stage racing is going to be really exciting. It's going to be interesting. It's going to throw a wrench in the playoffs a little bit, because now you're getting stage points on top of your bonus points, and you know, we added that the lower series drivers can kind of qualify their way in the Cup, kind of how they do in real life, and I think that's something that we're going to build upon and keep on doing, because I think it does a really good job of, you know, getting people excited about the Cup stuff and the upper series stuff, because now you ain't got to race 18 weeks to get into the next series. You just come in and show out. You're in.
And people love car counts too, you know. If you can get 40 cars out on this track and 40 guys of the caliber of guys that you have in this Cup Series, I mean, look at this. We're still green here. We got what? We got 4 to go at the line here, Alan, and we're still green here. These are a great bunch of guys to come race with, and if you're looking for a league to join, check out Midwest Days of Thunder for sure.
Yeah, that is definitely no joke, as, man, that one of Jason Ricketts falling off the back here, maybe part of one of those checkups you were talking about, and he's going to lose it. I think he already has. He's not going to be able to really make up any of that ground unless they go too wide here and kind of slow each other up.
It's going to be really interesting to see what the 27 of Mike Simone does here. We got an outside line forming. His teammate's in first. He's in third. Are you okay finishing third, or do you want to be right behind your teammate for that Daytona next week on that outside line? What do you do here?
Yeah, man, that's a question we're just gonna have to wait to see and find out, as we saw the 16 maybe try to help out that outside line, try to get some momentum gathered there, but the 98 Degner ended up being left out there all alone, and he knows that is not how it's gonna get done here tonight, so he's gonna fall back in the line. As they cross the line with 3 laps to go, Matt Forn still hanging around out in front, got that 70 right behind him with that 27 sitting just behind the 70. So, like you said, it's going to be interesting to see what do the teammates do here now that we're definitely coming down to the wire, cutting it kind of close, and trying to make up some ground. But yeah, man, you also got Ethan Flanagan. He's fallen off the back now. Same thing, and you had Tony Fry and Greg Klein, who pretty much from the get-go were all the way off the back. Doesn't really look like we're going to be getting a caution here for those guys to get caught up, so that's an unfortunate way for their dual chances to end up. But I know something about the 92, and that's he really likes to start from the back at these plate tracks, because there's really no good reason to be up towards the front.
Yeah, we appreciate all of our friends. Our brother Albert Anderson joining us from Vigilante League, saying he's heard great things about this league, and they really put on a good show. And Joe Archer, the resident Canadian we got in this league, saying, man, it's the #1 league for people to join. Come check them out. Oh, man, we got a little bit of mixing it up here.
Yeah, that we do, as Joe Nidick
Malone is not doing...
No, I think the 24 of Nidick might have coaxed him out of it a little bit. Might have been like inching his way kind of towards that outside, saying, man, let's go, as we take to the white flag. So this is going to be the final lap. No cautions here in duel number 2. And yeah, wow, man, Mike Simone in that 27 definitely getting the short end of that red stick there.
I saw what you did there.
This is really where you have to start protecting that bottom line. That yellow line, man. I always see. Ooh,
as we're going to be 3 wide. Man, that 24 just being able to inch his way up, able to get back down in front of the 24 just barely, as we got contact between the 16 and the 70, still loose, trying to save it. It's going to be 4 wide behind him, 3 wide now, as we got cars going all the way down into the infield here, coming across the line. Matt Bournes picking up the win here in duel number 2. 2-time Joe Nidick able to walk away with a second, and Justin Barkley escaping that craziness, coming across the line, able to come away in 3rd.
How about Andrew Kobe up 6 positions to take that 4th spot in that 11 car? Great effort by him, but man alive. I tell you what, old Matt Fords, he was watching his mirror. He did take some lessons from that first race, didn't he?
Interesting to say the least. And that's just what this package creates. It creates some sporadic, like the 70 has no choice but to go outside, because he's never going to get in front of the 10 car because of the way the package is.
And yeah, like you said, English, he definitely learned from that first race, knowing what was going to happen and being able to kind of get brave and stick his car out there. And for a second there, it looked like the 24 was going to be able to get to that inside, but man, Matt Forns, I don't know if he had a spotter here tonight or something, because man, he was not clear by much. We're talking half an inch or so, and he was able to squeeze his way back down.
Well, he managed that space. Matt's one of those guys, and so is Joe, that have lots and lots of laps put in this league. They know how to manage space. So to see those guys be that close together, that did not surprise me. It also didn't surprise me that they kept it clean and didn't wreck each other. These are just 2 guys that have been around each other enough. They knew what they could and couldn't do, and Matt Forns was able to hold on and pick up this win.
As everybody jumping into that podium finisher channel, so let's get these interviews underway. We'll start off with Mr. Mac and Cheese. That's Justin Barkley, able to come away with a 3rd place finish here tonight. And Justin, man, it looked like the race was pretty tame just about until that white flag lap, and everything kind of went all helter-skelter there.
Yeah, it definitely worked out for me. I was just riding around waiting for something to happen. The draft package and the cup cars kind of sucked, but it was a pretty fun race.
We talked about that a lot. About pack racing is not this Cup car package's strong point, but most of your season is not going to be pack racing. What tracks come up in your mind as you think about the schedule? Which ones are you kind of looking forward to put this Gen 6 car through its paces?
Mostly the 1.5 miles. I like those. Saving tires, long green flag runs do me the best. Definitely not super speedway racing because it's this all on the line.
Yeah, well,
Taylor,
man.
you got the third question, bud.
I gotcha. Barkley, I mean, what did you see when the Red Sea kind of opened up for you in front of you when the 70 kind of got into the 24 and then the, let me go back here and see, the 16, I think, kind of came down in front of you. What'd you see?
Oh, all I saw was one car go low, one went high, and I just kept the pedal in the middle and kept going straight.
Close your eyes and said, screw it, if I'm going to do it, it's going to happen.
Hell yeah.
I feel you, brother. Well, congrats on your third place finish, and I'll see you next week.
All right, guys, take care.
Now moving on up to our second place finisher here tonight. He's also, no, he is not the hard charger of the night. But Mr. Joe, two-time NIDIC back-to-back season wins here as the champion has arrived in the booth with us here tonight. Joe, you had a very interesting spot there. You were kind of sitting in fourth, waiting and kind of biding your time. Looks like it almost worked out there, but Matt Forns just barely got back down in front of you. Maybe squeezed you down below that yellow, but you're able to come back up and come away here with a second.
Yeah, I honestly was just trying to get a top two here to get a decent start in the race. If we're racing there, I probably would have gotten Forns a little bit harder. I did get into him going into the turn a little bit to try to wash him up, but as soon as I got into him, it completely broke my momentum. When we were on the backstretch, I was kind of iffy about, when I pulled down under McComas, and I kind of went down to the yellow, but he kind of kept forcing me down, and I wasn't coming out of it.
Well, you guys are both of those guys that play well with others, and you guys race each other real clean. And we didn't have any doubts about the 24 car and the 10 car wrecking each other. You guys definitely play well together. Looking at the playoffs and stuff coming up at the end of the season, I know it's a long ways off, but it looks like we're going to have Phoenix and Homestead kind of rounding out the season. How do you feel on 1.5 miles, and do you like this Gen 6 Cup car on 1.5 miles? We talked to a lot of guys who love the way it drives at 1.5 miles, but not wild about how it performs in pack racing.
The 1.5 miles are actually, I'm really good there. Especially Phoenix is actually one of my better tracks, so I'm pretty good with that one. Homestead's, I'm okay. I could get a little better at that one, but if I make it to the last race, I'll be towards the front. But the drafting definitely on these super speedways in these cars is absolutely awful. You can't do anything on the high side, and it makes it really tough to win the race. Basically, what you got to do is what I did to really Mike Simon and McComas there, and act like you're going to go up, and when you do, just give them a shot and then pull under them.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, to manipulate the draft package is half the battle here. How did you feel with the 16 giving you bumps the whole time? I kind of was watching you, and it kind of was scaring me sometimes because you would go up and not really glue them tires to the yellow, and I kind of talked about the importance of that.
Yeah, I was all right with it. Some of that was when I believe it was Matt, McComas, and Simon were together. Mike was having to roll out pretty good. So I was kind of rolling out, but he never got me real hard. He gave me some pretty solid shots, and I never got real loose or anything, so I was okay with it. It's okay. It just, like I said, this package is really tough. Used to be, when I raced here, I would prefer to be in second because I could make a move on somebody, but honestly now, if first is where to be here because you can manipulate the pack.
Man, truer words really haven't ever been said, and you know what? You still are going to be starting on that second row coming up next week here, and that's still not a bad spot knowing how long those races are going to be. You never know what's going to happen, but Joe, congrats on second here tonight, and good luck in the upcoming season, bud.
All right, man. We'll put on a hell of a show next week. I guarantee it.
And finally, moving on up to tonight's race winner and the person who's going to sit in that lead spot on the outside line. That is the 10 of Matt Forns. That feller. How you doing tonight there, Matt? Able to pick up the win, going wire to wire here. Basically from the get-go, able to jump down really early off of that restart and really never look back.
Yeah, what's going on, fellers? Yeah, that was fun. Kind of got out the front there. I don't know how close I came down on the 70 there to drop down in front of him, but Corey Wakefield pushed me up there, and I'd have liked to have taken him with me, but I don't think you can really do that. You can't trust that at this track and these cars. So,
well,
it's fun though.
You can't. So you have to be greedy, okay? Let's not kid ourselves. This Gen 6 cut package at super speedways does not allow for any kind of loyalty or helping your buddy type thing. It's, hey man, if I've got a chance to jump down, I've got to take it, because you never know what's going to happen. We saw so many situations tonight, not only in your duel but the first duel, where guys were trying to make stuff happen on the outside and maybe only had a car or two to help them, and it ended up being a disaster, and they had to try to find a spot to jump back down. So great on you for finding a spot and jumping down and making it work for you. And
yeah, and that was why I cut down on McComas like that. I'm like, man, if I don't take this opportunity, I could end up all the way at the back, and I don't want to do that. McComas, I was talking to McComas at 70. He did say he burped the throttle a little bit, so we didn't wreck the whole field. But I'm not sure how close I was to him.
I had to go back and look at it, but yeah, you talk about how you had to manipulate it, and this draft package is just weird, right? How do you feel about the outside line going in the next week? Do you think there's going to be any outside line at all? I mean, because what we saw tonight in that first duel, there was a big push for that outside line, and it still did not go anywhere.
It's going to be interesting to see. We should have a lot more cars out on the track and a lot more people to work with other people. The outside line does work, but you got to be bumper to bumper with those things and holding a very tight line. And you can get that outside line moving, but it's hard to do.
So lessons learned from tonight was, hey man, even if you get a ton of cars to go with you on the outside, you really can't make too much work unless you get a good restart. So do you think that next week we'll see more guys hitting cars in the corner and moving them to gain positions? Do you think that's going to play into next week?
I would hope not early in the race. I mean, towards the end of the race, maybe. I mean, it is Daytona. Anybody can win Daytona, and everybody wants to win Daytona.
And a big car count. I mean,
yeah. So you could maybe see it. It'll be fun.
Well, congrats on the win, Matt. We were really kind of secretly pulling for you to stick around up there, but good job there, feller.
I appreciate it, guys.
And with that, tonight's duels races are over, and we have an official starting grid here next week when this season officially kicks off with the Daytona race next week here in these Cup cars. Man, Taver, thanks for coming around, buddy. It was great to have you up here and joining us in the booth and having a blast and giving some of that driver insight that, we could kind of see it, here watching, but man, just being in the car gives you that whole extra little eyes.
Yeah, man, I actually thoroughly enjoyed it, and I loved coming on here and giving the viewers the kind of insight of what happens actually in the car, and love to do it again.
Well, as we slowly wind tonight's broadcast down, let us go through and tell everyone where their favorite driver finished up and where they will be starting here next week. And that's going to start with the 10 of Matt Forns. He's going to be starting up front on that outside. here next week at Daytona with the 24 of Joe Nidick. He's going to be starting right there behind him. You had the 9 of Mr. Mac and Cheese, Justin Barkley, finish here in third. With the 11 of Andrew Kobe, had a great run. He's the hard charger of the night for duel number 2, up 6 spots.
Race.
So great job from Andrew there. Looked like a little worried for him as he was kind of struggling at the back of the main pack there, but able to make up that ground. You had that 70 of Stephen McComas get into a little bit of a situation there kind of towards the end, but able to walk away with a 5th. You had the 27 of Red Stick Mike Simone kind of get shuffled out there with about 3 to go, but able to make up some ground and finish here in 6th. The 42 of Angel Hernandez, the incoming Xfinity Series champ from last season. He's going to be starting next week in that 7th row. You have the 1 of Jason Ricketts finishing here in 8th with the 98 of Isaac Degner in 9th. And rounding out that top 10 of the field and your top 10 rows here next week is the 16 of Corey Wakefield.
Yeah, the 35 of Ethan Flanagan finishing 11th. He'll start on the outside of that 11th row next week. And Anthony Fry in the 6th will be starting in 12th. And the 92 of Greg Klein will be starting in the outside of the 13th row. So thanks to everybody that joined us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch tonight. We really appreciate everybody tuning into the broadcast. Y'all are the reason we, get on all these days and put these races out to the masses because you guys appreciate it so much, and we appreciate you. And thanks to all our sponsors, and thanks to Richard Michelob Gray, who sponsored tonight's race. What did they call it? The Double Fister Duels? I think that's what we ended up calling this race tonight.
Yeah, that is what we started calling it tonight. I also want to comment one more thing too on the fans. Really appreciate everything that they do. A lot of people comment and stuff. We are kind of doing the fan of the race. Each person will be entered or selected by the broadcasters will be entered into a raffle at the end of the season to be drawn for a $25 gift card. So something special that we can be doing for you guys because you guys give so much to us.
Man, there's nothing like giving back to the fans, which is what everybody likes to see. And with that, looks like tonight's race in action has come to a close. We can't wait to see you all as the Xfinity Series starts up officially on Monday. Boy, oh boy, does it look like it's going to be a good one.
Could you try again?
Okay, Apple Watch, why are you going off? Anyway.
Always listening.
Yeah, it's always listening. Anyway, again, thank you all for watching. For Alan English, and thanks again for joining us here, Taver Mowry up here in the booth for duel number 2. I'm Alan Brown. We are signing off.
We gone. And for Adam Turner, see ya.